because you live with it all the time, no matter if you take them to court or not. And I don't. They say if the person says you're sorry, they're sorry, and that they admit they've done this, that it helps. It doesn't really. I'm Linda Matson.
Matson?
Okay, um, going to be 60 this month. Mother of 2 children,
Mm-hmm.
5 grandchildren.
5 grandchildren, that's fantastic.
It's them up over there. I still have nightmares at night. I bang the walls apparently, and so I have amitriptyline to put me to sleep at night, and I don't know what it's called. my brother tells me it's get happy pills. From the time I was 2, I was sexually raped both ways by my father, rectal and vaginal. Um, Not only and sold to men for sex, but as I got older, say about 12, he used to take his marching stick, would have a big brass ball on the end of it. If you've seen the army guys, they have them, and shove it up my rectum or up inside me and broken and pop bottles, whatever. Because he said he never wanted me to be able to say any other man hurt me, that I'd be used to this stuff. Okay. So because of that, I ended up with a lot of internal problems. The worst one is for me is bowel at this point because I have no muscles left in my rectum to stop, and because of the nerves, the stomach, and the bowel, the whole thing combined, if I walk more than a city block, my bowel lets go. I had to have my bladder tied up so many times and injected with, I think it's silicone, to have some kind of muscle thing there. I have, growing on the back of my throat, polyps, and they makes me cough a lot, and I have to drink all the time because they're right there sitting at the back of my throat, and they become very dry and itchy. They say that's from bacteria from intercourse, and it grew because it wasn't treated or anything over the time period. From other kind of abuses, the eyes. I mean, next to legally blind.
Those are very thick.
Yes. People put them on and say, oh my God, I can't see it. I feel like I'm stoned out of my mind. But me, I'm able to see somewhat. And that's from being hit in the eye. I have scars here where he'd hit us with brushes and stuff like that and break the eye open. I think it was 10 when I went to school with a big bandage over this one. And they said, what happened to me? And my mother had bandaged it up. And my dad told me that I was supposed to tell him I fell downstairs. Right? So I said I'd fallen downstairs and then I had started crying, and I told my teacher, it had to be grade 4 because I told she was a very gentle person kind of thing, didn't try to touch me but talked gently, and I told her what really had happened. So that's when I remember I was on the principal's desk and he was giving me candies and soothing me, and they brought the nurse down and she took off the bandage and she cleaned it, put a new bandage on, and then my parents appeared and I guess it told my parents what I had said, and they said, Linda, you fell down the front steps going, why would you lie? Kind of thing, and make me look bad and say, well, take her home and we'll take her to the doctors and have it reported, whatever. And they took me home. They never took me to the doctors, never had it reported. But, so I ended up with a lot of eye problems. Kicked in the side of the head and the ears with steel-toed army boots down flights of stairs, so I have a lot of ear damage. I've got 2 hearing aids. I'm not wearing them today because I try not to use them. Not that old, I say. have a lot of, like I have fibromyalgia, I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have osteoporosis, and a lot of it, like your mom says, oh, it's symptomatic of what you've been through. So, yeah, so I live in hell going on because, you can't do a lot of things. But I'm still alive and healthy and happy to be alive for my grandkids and kids. When I was younger, I would say 15, 16, and tried to kill myself and ended up in a psychiatric hospital because I was trying to get away from the abuse. They told me I was crazy and lock up the key, throw away the key kind of thing. But I worked my way out eventually when they stopped trying to release me with my father. And went into a halfway house, but I still kept trying to kill myself to get out of the horror that I had been through. And went through psychiatrists who said, can't forget it, move on kind of thing. Or my father had convinced them all I was mentally ill kind of thing and making this up. Because he was a big person in the community. So, until I met your mother. She was my therapist, and I was seeing the doctor at that point said, there's no helping this woman. We're going to just send her back to psychiatric hospital, lock her up for life, throw away the key. And your mom said, no, let me try. And she did. And I'm here today because of her. But the misunderstanding is like when I went to teachers, and that in school when I was young, principal would take me on his desk and give me candies and say, and call my parents, who would be my father, who said, oh, she got grounded today, so she's making this up because she's angry, or he always had a reason for everything, and so teachers didn't listen or anything else. But then on the flip side of that, he was selling me to, and my sisters and brothers. There's 5 girls, 1 boy in our family. One has died, my sister. But he, at least I knew he sold me to other men for sex that were Masonic men, policemen, any children's aid, any place that we turned, he had his foot in kind of thing. So there wasn't really any getting help. And I think if you get help, and you look at it and realize that it's not your fault and that it's not part of you, it's not bred into you, it's not something that's passed on, that you can make it through it, that you won't re-abuse. Like I've babysat children all my life. I worked in a daycare, and that was and even with my own children when I was going through therapy with your mom, I was so terrified I might abuse them, because that's the saying, if you're abused, you'll abuse. And it's not true. If you get help, you won't abuse. My brother, when his little girl was little, said he looked at her one day and thought, oh, what a little figure she had on her, and oh my God, am I becoming my dad? And so he went and talked to somebody, not for long, but they said, and his wife's brother's a minister, so he went to him and talked to him and said, he said, no, all fathers, may look like that. That doesn't mean it's sexual. You're just seeing she's growing up and developing kind of thing. As long as you know and are aware of any feelings that are wrong, you might think it's wrong. Then you make sure she's of age now, that she's getting a little bit of figure. She changes in her room, that kind of stuff. That stuff we weren't taught. We were never taught this stuff. And my one sister who passed on, apparently was abusing her son. We have contact with him now, and we have over the years, but we didn't realize at that time. We know my father had abused him as a child, but not that she was abusing him. And he said she'd whip her with a belt to a gun erection, that kind of abuse kind of stuff. So it does happen if you didn't get help. And she'd always call me in the middle of the night, that sister, and cry. She wanted to kill herself, and could she talk to your mom? And I did get your mom on the phone one time to talk to her a little bit, but she would never go to an appointment, never go on, carry her through for a thing. She actually died of a massive brain hemorrhage at 50. But the rest of my sisters and my brother, My one sister's head of battered women's shelter. Other sister's a nurse at Victoria Hospital, doing dialysis with babies. My other sister's a ward clerk at University Hospital. So they're all professional people, and the only one sister that, but it wasn't mental abuse, it was physical abuse she was terrified of. Was she has one daughter, and she used to call me when her daughter was little and say, "Linda, will you take her before I kill her? I'm so angry," and whatever. So I would take her. Whether I was terrified I'd abuse my children. You know. So that becomes part of you, and I proved that you don't have to abuse just because you're abused. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. Keep trying to talk about it with safe people, and question and find out who those safe people are. Whether they just want to exploit your story, whether they want to help you heal, um, whether they just want your story to hurt you more, because there seems to be all those out there, But to keep trying, because there is somebody, and that you're worth something. Like if I had died back years ago when I was trying to kill myself, I wouldn't have my beautiful children and grandchildren to be seeing them growing up, and I wouldn't have the caring friends and people around me that I've been able to build today, because there is that. And for most times, I feel I'm worth something because, like, you have something to give back to this world, and I always say, Earth is heaven and hell. It's what you make it. There's no heaven up there, no hell down there. It's right here, and if you can take control of it and be aware of what's triggered, your triggers are, what you need really in life, that there's help there. There's safe help there. And you can become more sane. And I tell everybody I'm crazy, but that's okay. That's a funny crazy. That's not a crazy. But and there's people out there who need you. Like I always felt I wasn't needed because I was so bad and all this stuff. But there are people who need me. And I can have a purpose in this life. I stood by a couple other young girls as my kids were growing up and supported them. They told me about it, and I talked to their mom, and I supported them to go and tell. And you could be helpful. Your life can mean something, and so not to give up on life.